I'll start with a very cliched, a very common example of a trader, and the trader purchases some equipment, let's say a bike for, let's say 1000 rupees. Okay. So the 1000 rupees will be his cost, right? He's incurring a cost from his pocket. So 1000 rupees is his investment. That is the cost. Now he intends to sell this bicycle at 1500 rupees. We call this 1500 as the selling price. No, we don't. Okay. So 1500 is the intended selling price. It is the retail price. It is the MRP. Okay. And basically it is called as the marked price. Okay. So whatever is the intended price at which you want to sell the equipment or any particular commodity, that is called as the marked price. Now, due to some negotiation, probably, or he had to sell it at 1200 rupees actually. So this 1200 is the selling price. So if we understand the entire transaction, there are three parts involved: the cost incurred by the person, okay, the intended selling price, okay, and the actual selling price. And this is all you need to know to answer questions based on profit and loss. Okay, so let's understand. We first try to establish a connection or relation between the cost price and selling price. Okay, if you observe carefully in this example, the cost price was 1000 rupees, selling price is 1200. The person is gaining something, the shopkeeper, the trader is gaining something, right? And the gain is 1200 minus 1000, right? So this gain is basically nothing but the profit, and profit, it is nothing but the selling price minus the cost price. Okay, now probably due to some market conditions, अगर उसे यही equipment 900 में sell करना पड़ा होता, तो in that case the profit would be negative. The profit would be 900 minus 1000 minus 100. That means he has a loss. Negative profit would indicate that there is a loss. Okay, now if I want to calculate the profit percentage, okay, the profit percentage in general, if nothing is specified, we take the profit percentage out of the cost price. Okay, so profit percentage is profit divided by cost price into 100. But nowadays, the trend is slightly changing. Okay, many companies, especially German MNCs, okay, probably they are trying to find out they are keen to calculate the profit out of the selling price. But anyway, if nothing is specified in us in our course, in our syllabus, in our exam, if nothing is specified, okay, we have to take it as the profit is out of the cost price. Okay, so that is the first relation we have tried to establish here between the selling price and the cost price. We now try to understand the relation between selling price and the mark price, and that relation is basically called as the discount. Okay, what was the intended price, okay, and what is the actual price, the gap between them. Okay, it is basically the discount offered. Okay, discount offered very commonly we understand it as percentage out of the mark price. Makes sense. Okay, for successive discount you can always apply the formula for two transactions. Okay, two successive discounts of A% and B% respectively. Okay, successive discounts A% and B% to minus A minus B plus AB by 100. Why did I put a minus sign? Because the value is reducing. Okay, so that is how we have tried to establish the connection between the mark price and the selling price. We now try to understand the relation between the cost price and the mark price. Okay, now whatever is the intended amount of profit, that is basically the markup value. It is the mark price minus the cost price. Okay, and markup percentage is always with respect to the initial, which is the cost price. Okay, the very first question: A purchases a television for rupees 10,200 INR and sells it at 8,500. Find the profit percentage. So your cost price is 10,200 and your selling price is 8,500. Okay, so you can apply the formula we saw just now. You can calculate profit. Okay, profit will simply be equal to selling price minus the cost price. Negative aega, it's okay, it's totally fine. Minus 1,700 is loss, minus sign. Okay, so we always calculate the profit and loss for that matter out of the cost price. So the loss value will be minus 1,700. Okay, percentage out of the cost price will be divided by 10,200. Okay, into 100. Okay, profit upon the CP into 100. Just now is the formula. So we cancel out 2 zeros, 17 ones are 17, 6 are 102. The answer is minus 16.6% ka loss. Okay, so what is my recommendation for these questions is the common factor between the numbers that you can answer out initially itself. For example, here the 10,200 can be nothing but 1700 times 6. Okay, 8,500 can be 1700 times 5. So just cancel out the 1700 from both sides now. So you can, for all practical purposes, now you can treat your cost price as 6 rupees and selling price as 5. It's as simple now. Okay, so now let's look at it this way. there is a loss of 1 rupee. Out of the cost price 6, 1 out of exchange is 16.6%. Okay, so we go on to the next example now, and we apply something similar in the next example. Hero Honda purchases a bike for rupees 70,000 and marks it at 73,500 INR. Okay, so what is asked? First question, find the profit percentage if the bike is sold at the mark price. If the bike is sold at the mark price, your selling price becomes 73,500. Okay, in that case, you would have earned a profit of how much? 3,500. From the previous example, just cancel out the common factors. Okay, profit is 3,500 and your cost was 70,000. Okay, 3,500 ones are 3,500 20s are. So your profit is 1 out of the cost price 20. 1 out of 20 is nothing but 5%. Let's go on to the next question now. If a discount 5% is offered on the mark price, find the profit or loss percentage. Okay, so you can just calculate 73500 upon 100 into 5 to calculate 5%. 5 5 is 25. 5 3 is 15, 16, 17. 5 7 is 35. 36. Right? So your discount is 3675 rupees. Your initial mark price was 73,500. Okay, when you subtract them, you will get your selling price. Okay, so when we subtract them, okay, first of all, we subtract 3,500 from this. So 70,000 will remain. Right, 70,000 में से अब हमें कितना subtract करना है? We have already subtracted 3,500, right? What remains now is 175, right? Okay, so we know that now the selling price will be 175 less than 70,000, okay, which will be 69,825. Clearly, there is a loss of 175 rupees, right? Okay, so the loss value is how much? The loss value is 175. The loss percentage is 70,000 out of the cost into 100. So 0 0 gone. Okay, ये हो जाएगा 175 ones are 4s are. There is a 0.25% loss. Now let's look at a much quicker way to solve the question. We already saw that in the previous question, the cost was 100. Okay, if the goods are sold on mark price, the profit is 5%. So basically there is a 5% profit. Your selling price is 105. Ispe you are offering 5% discount, right? Now 5% of 105 will be how much? 5 5s are 25. 5 zeros are 0. 5 1s are 5.25. Isn't it? So if you are offering a discount of 5.25 rupees, your selling price is 105 minus 5.25, 99.75. 99.75 is a selling price. Your cost is 100. There is clearly a loss of 0.25, which is your loss percentage out of 100. That's why for the overall transaction now, there will be a loss of 0.25%. It's as simple as that. All right. We'll go on to the next question now. If the mark price is raised by 30% and a discount of 30% is offered, find the percentage change in the selling price. Okay, so the mark price is raised by 30% and then a discount of 30% is offered. Find the percentage change in the selling price. So now people start taking it as 73,500. Okay, उसको 30% से increase करते हैं. Whatever value they get, they reduce it by 30%. Okay, and then they say कि हाँ overall compare करेंगे कितना percent change हुआ है. Okay, and then find the percentage change in the selling price. Okay, I say this method is completely redundant, useless, rubbish, not required. Why? Because we understood this, we saw the method, we saw this approach previously. Okay, for one reference value, you are increasing the number by 30%. Okay, which is becoming 1.3 times. इसी चीज को you will reduce by further 30%, that will become 0.7 times. Okay, so effectively it is becoming 1.3 into 0.7, which is 0.91 times. You can clearly see there is a loss of 0.09, or basically there is a 9% loss.